Yeah, yeah.
Yes, Sudhan, we are good to go.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Let's quickly start off with the business session. Can we have the update on the next week role takers by VPE Toastmaster Sai Snehal?
Thank you, Toastmaster Sudhan. The role takers for the next week are as follows. The Master of Ceremony is booked by Toastmaster Sanjana. We have two speech slots booked, one by Balaji AS and other one by DTM Amitabha sir. The other roles are open. Interested members can kindly contact me. Also, I request all the members to kindly keep their Basecamp feedback session open so that you can give feedback as and when according to the agenda of the meeting. Kindly please do, because as Toastmasters, one does not need to emphasize the importance of feedback and its importance. Thank you, and back to the President, Toastmaster Sudhank.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sai. Update from our VPPR is that the theme for the next quarterly newsletter is out by VPPR Toastmaster Prakash. The theme is the art of empowering. So, guys, as you know, it's a lockdown period in Bangalore, and you're not supposed to go out. I think it's a very good time for you to utilize this time and write the articles for the newsletter and submit to the VPPR to the team of VPPR before 20th of May. You have 10 days in your hand and a full free time if so. So kindly contribute your articles towards the newsletter. And one more thing I'm glad to say is that Mekon Communication Club is now eligible for Hall of Fame Gold. This Hall of Fame Gold is we had to satisfy or complete 37 plus points to achieve this. It is a replacement of the Golden Gavel Plus what we had in the previous term. I'll be sharing the all the criteria what we have met, those 37 points what we have met in the WhatsApp group by end of the day. All the 37 points I'll be sharing in the WhatsApp group. With that, we are done with the business session. Sergeant at Arms Ujjwal, you can take it over. Ujjwal? Ujjwal, you there?
Yes, Sudhank, I am here.
You can take it over.
Yes. A very happy evening to all the fellow here, if any. The most famous sip of coffee ever taken was good to the last drop. We are all familiar with the famous tagline from Maxwell House, the confronting commercials, that picture of a hot cup of coffee on a cold morning. Makes you want to go brew a cup just thinking about it, right? But did you know that this simple tagline comes with quite history lesson? So where Tennessee in 1907 was served a cup of Maxwell House coffee and proclaimed it to be the good to the last drop. Who is a Puri Sagu lover, a passionate photographer, and aims to become a wildlife photographer to amaze us with
I think there is a signal droppage.
together and welcome our president, Toastmaster Udank.
Thank you, Ujjwal, for welcoming me. I see no guests today in the meeting, so let's quickly move on. Can we have the minutes of previous meeting read out by our associate secretary Toastmaster Gaurav?
Yeah, 1 second.
Yep.
Okay. Good evening to all the Toastmasters. I'll be reading out the minutes of the meeting number 1108 held on 3rd May 2021. The theme was Melting Pot, and the business session started at 6:19 p.m. and was chaired by the President Toastmaster Udanka. The following points were discussed in the business session. Roles are open for the next meeting. Contact VP for booking the roles. The regular meeting started at 6:25 p.m. Sergeant at Arms Toastmaster Sanjana started the meeting with an introduction about the theme and handed over the charge to the President Toastmaster Udanka. Toastmaster Udanka opened the meeting, welcomed the guests, and spoke on the theme and introduced the Master of Ceremonies of the day, Toastmaster Balaji A.S. Master of Ceremonies Toastmaster Balaji spoke on the theme and introduced the role takers. The role takers were as follows: Timer Toastmaster Rashmi, Accounter Toastmaster Chandrasekhar, Grammarian Toastmaster Vijay Upendra, and PP Evaluator DTM Mekha Prabhakar. The prepared speech session has the following speeches. The first speaker was Toastmaster Ritik, attempting Level 1 Project 1, and the evaluated was Toastmaster Sanjana. The second speaker was Toastmaster Nakul, attempting Level 1 Project 1, and the evaluator was DTM Subramanian. The table topic session was conducted by Toastmaster Sharanya and following were the speakers: Toastmaster Sandeep, Toastmaster Ujjwal, Toastmaster Vijay Upendra, Toastmaster Rashmi, DTM Ekabakara, Toastmaster Chandrasekhar, DTM Subramaniam, Toastmaster Devi, Toastmaster Gaurav, Toastmaster Sanjana, Toastmaster Arundhati, Toastmaster Sai Snail, and DTM Amitabha. The general evaluation session was conducted by Toastmaster Gaurav, and the winners of the week were Best Speaker Toastmaster Nakul, Best Evaluator Toastmaster Sanjana, and Best Table Topic Speaker Toastmaster Sai Snail. The President concluded the meeting at 8:35 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you, Ujjwal. Am I visible?
No, that.
Okay, just give me a second. There is a slight technical issues. Am I visible now and audible? Yep.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yep. Really sorry for that technical issue. Till the last drop. When I heard this theme by Sai Snehal, I was a little surprised. What exactly this mean? Then I went and googled it out. I realized something that time. This theme is quite little motivating for the youngsters like us, because one of the article what I read about this theme had mentioned that we should not give our we should not give up till our last moment. We should not give up whatever in the instance let it be, whether it's this college project what you're doing or any other internships you're doing or any meetings or any such things you're doing with your respect to your life. You should never give up. You have to fight or try to achieve that till that last step you take. So I thought that time, okay, I then researched what's the what exactly this last till the last drop is. Then I realized there were many articles in the on the internet saying that these the youngsters like us tend to leave any work they have taken up in between when they see the first failure. As we know, failure is the stepping stone to success, and we will find the success in the last step or the last drop what we go till, isn't it? To take this meeting forward, we have a third generation coffee planter. He has completed his icebreaker speech very shortly. A person who never says for food and beer. A person who is really enthusiastic in reading out books. Please put your hands in welcoming the master of ceremony, Toastmaster Nakul.
Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. Am I visible and audible? Okay, thank you, President Udanka. So this is the first time emceeing. I took a lot of inspiration from Toastmaster Balaji, who did a fantastic job last Monday in holding the energy of the group. The role of an MC is to act as a meeting's host, introducing participants and making sure everything runs on time, and also to set a tone. The MC role has been assigned, and it was forced to take it up by Sai Snehal as an opportunity for me to improve my speaking skills and also to boost my confidence and in confronting a larger audience. My legs are currently shivering and probably can't feel my toes, but none of you can see that today, so I'm okay. So I'll try my best to hold the energy of the group high, and for that I need equal participants from all the speakers and members. And please switch on your video if possible. I live my life through tiny, frugal celebrations. To explain in detail, I want to share a small snapshot of my story. Living frugally back in 2014 when I had a IT firm. So me and my partners made a pact. So rule number one, no drinking or smoking when you are having a bad day. Rule number two, always you have to celebrate any sort of good or wins in your life. And rule number three, celebrations has to be cheap and easily available. It cannot be a bombastic party. You go out and splurge money. Instead of, you can't do that. So every time we had a good deal or a win, we used to go buy a beer. And every time we had a bad one, we used to go have a cup of coffee or a juice. So this is very funny that there was an instance where we're having beer early in the morning and drinking coffee or tea in the night, and it went for a mix up and went haywire. So this went on for a month, and we were bored out of our mind as to do what, and we had to come up with a new plan. So that is when we decided, keep the business and everything aside, let's come up with a strategy of figuring out what the celebration has to be like. So we created a lot of things. So before I proceed, can you unmute and tell me what is a beverage or a juice that you would like to drink? Anybody?
Tender coconut.
Okay. Anything else?
Tender coconut.
Anything else?
A cold glass of buttermilk during the summer.
Super. Anything else?
Tender coconut can be 3 or so. 3, 4, no problem. No lunch.
Lemon juice.
All right.
Mint lemon juice.
Mint lemon juice. Okay, nice. Okay. So we came up with a plan, and we decided that we can choose any beverage of choice, but we have to keep in mind that with a small mindset change. So we will drink any beverage, but we'll drink it mindfully. So when I say mindfully, let's say we are drinking, let's say filter coffee. So we'll be drinking filter coffee not as sweet or bitter, but we'll be drinking as, okay, this filter coffee, how much chicory percentage do you have? Do you think they're using real milk or, Dakota milk? What do you think is the amount of sugar that has in the? So this is one example. Second example was, let's say we went for a beer, we would, judge the bartender. Do you think we paid for Kingfisher and he actually served us Kingfisher or something else? So we started making the fun out of every beverage that we drink, and we were mindful about it. So then it went to a level 2 where we were thinking, okay, what is the beer made of? Is the beer made of mash or fermentation? What were the role the yeast were taking in fermenting the sugars and converting into alcohol? So we started doing that. And the second thing we did was, we will drink the beverage mindfully, and from the first sip till the last sip, we will be grateful for all the efforts that a barista has put into, the farmer has put into, and we'll be grateful for all the things that has gone into making that one cup of coffee or a beer. So the theme for today is good till the last drop. So when we started celebrating, our partners are in different ways now. They're no longer in the business with us. When we started enjoying the smallest things in life, everything meant that we are doing it for a reason, and we got the energy back up. So I want to share this. I wanted to share this as saying that the smallest of the celebration of as simple as drinking a buttermilk and having that joy of drinking the buttermilk or drinking lemon juice to get your energy back up is sufficient, and you don't need environmental celebration or splurging money. So have multiple repeated celebrations and do a fantastic job at whatever you do. So that's the theme of the day. Put in your effort and enjoy the journey. A typical Toastmaster meeting consists of 3 sessions. The prepared speech session, the speaker gets time to prepare for a speech on the subject matter of choice. The table topic session, in this session, the table topic master will choose a topic and the speakers at random expect an impromptu, as chosen at random, and the speaker have to speak in impromptu. The evaluation session, this is the session where the speeches and the proceedings of the meetings will be evaluated and the feedback will be given. This is a very important session which will showcase on points of improvement to better yourself in speaking. I now call upon the role takers, our TAPG team, timer Gaurav, to read out the guidelines.
So good evening to once again to all the Toastmasters. So as timer for today's meeting, I'll be noting down the time taken by each speaker, and I'll be sharing my virtual background. I used to share my virtual background, but today I'll be sharing the cards in my phone because it is more easier than the virtual background. So I'll be sharing my cards in my phone, a green card for every 5 minutes in prepared speech session, and yellow card for all the 6 minutes, and the red card for 7 minutes. Coming to the table topic session, I'll be sharing green card for 1 minute, yellow card for 1.5 minutes, and red card for 2 minutes. And for the evaluation, green for 2 minutes, yellow for 2.5, and red for 3 minutes. So I'll be giving my report at the end of the session. Thank you, and back to the end.
I call upon our counter, Toastmaster Chandrasekhar.
So, I am in the taking the role of counter. It is my job. Whenever any speaker is speaking, carefully listen to him, and where he does unnecessary pauses or any other postures, I mean verbally, but I will make a count and I will give the feedback whenever called for at the opportunity.
PP Evaluator Arundhati Harlema.
Good evening, Toastmaster of the day and my dear fellow Toastmasters. As a PP evaluator, my job is to monitor the rules of etiquette in a Toastmasters meeting. The speakers are not allowed to speak about sex, politics, and religion. And all the speakers are expected to put on their video mode so that the speakers will have almost near offline experience. Only the speaker is supposed to keep the microphone unmuted, and all others are expected to keep the microphone muted. Whenever the participants have to exit, ideally they have to exit in the interval, and a message is expected to be left on the chat box because their absence should be noticed by others. Back to you.
Grammarian Toastmaster Sandeep.
Good evening, everyone. As I see no guests today, so I don't have to explain the role of grammarian. I would just briefly tell my opinion on the good grammar. When I remember when Ankita or Sridevi, people like them joined in our club, they had instantly gained some amount of reputation because they used very good English grammar when they spoke. So that is what, if you use very good grammar, you kind of get some kind of reputation from the fellow members and any other people whom you interact. Grammar is like an nail or screw. Imagine if you are going to build a house without those, it may not stand. So grammar is like that. You have to use proper grammar. When you use proper grammar, it shows your English speaking skills, and it also shows you are diligent and you have an eye for the detail. So let us concentrate on the good grammar. And one more also for the younger generation. I have read somewhere that you have 14% less likely chance of chatting with someone on online dating app if you are using the wrong grammar. So keep in mind. Um, Today's word of the day is frugal. You can use like Sandeep, our treasurer, is frugal when it comes to expenditure for the club. Or you can also use Sandeep is very frugal, finishes to the last drop from the glass. So with this, I request all of you to use word of the day and keep in mind that let us use proper English grammar. Back to you, MC Nakul.
We now start the thank you, Grammarian Sandeep. We now start the meeting with a prepared speech session. I call upon the first individual evaluator, Toastmaster Balaji, to read the guidelines.
Good evening to all the Toastmasters. The purpose of this speech for Speaker Sridevi would be to practice writing and delivering a speech that inspires others. The purpose of the speech is for the member to inspire the audience. And as a primary goal, the speaker will also have to include a lot of interaction with the audience and make that a priority in her speech. Wishing her very all the best. Back to the MC Nakul.
Our first speaker of the evening, Toastmaster Sridevi Nayak. She's pursuing final level chartered accountancy. She is a trained Bharatanatyam dancer, a Triple Crown award winner, and a club coach for 50 Shades of Talk. In her pastime, she loves to read books, write poetry, and listen to music. Handing over to Toastmaster Sridevi, who is who's speaking for Level 3 Project 2 titled Rocks, Pebbles, and Sand.
Thank you, Toastmaster Nakul. Am I audible, everybody?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much. Good evening, Toastmasters and my dear guests. Now, at some point of time or every time in our life, haven't we thought that if I have the time, I would surely do this? I mean, all of us have that one thing that we're really passionate about, but we're not able to take out some time for what we really love to do, right? So let me ask you a question, okay? What, according to you, is the most important thing or should be the most important thing in a person's life? Can we have some answers from you all, please? Yes?
Education.
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Education.
Yes, I say education is very important. Anybody else? Ankita?
Challenges and problems.
Sorry. Ankita?
I think considering the times that we are in, health.
Health is very important, absolutely.
Family?
Asking everybody to be honest.
Yes, honesty. And Udank, I think you said family?
Family, yes, family.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm sure all of you will agree that every point that has been raised by the members here are something that has to be of prime importance to all of us. All right, so let me share with you a story that left me inspired. So there was once this philosophy professor who walks into his class, all right, and then he places a big glass jar on the table. He then takes big chunks of rocks and starts placing it in the jar, one after the other till the top. He then looks at the students and asks, is the jar full? And all the students nod and agree that yes, it's full, sir. Then he takes a small bag of pebbles and drops it in the jar and shakes the jar up. Naturally, the pebbles trickle down and take up all the space between the rocks. He looks at the students and asks, is the jar full now? The students nod and admit that yes, it is full, sir. He now takes a bag of sand and pours it in the jar. And then the sand also trickles down and takes up all the space that is left between the rocks and the pebbles, all up until the top. Professor now asks the students, is it full now? And they nod and admit that yes, it is full. The professor then goes on to say, my dear students, I want you to understand that this jar is representation of our lives. The rocks represent the most important things in our lives. Like our Toastmasters have mentioned, family, education, health, all these things are various things that have to hold prime importance in our life. The second are the pebbles that are secondary importance, our job, a house, car, and the sand ultimately represents those that are unimportant or has the least importance in our life. Now, imagine, let me show you a pictorial representation of what I'm talking about. All right, so if we fill the jar with rocks, then pebbles and sand, but what happens if we fill the jar with sand first and then pebbles, and there won't be any space left for the rocks, right? It's the same thing that happens in our life. If we fill our lives and spend most of the time of the precious time that we have on unimportant things, then we will not be left with the most important resource, that is time, for the things that are the most important things in our life. It is important for us to understand how to prioritize what is important. Take out time for medical checkups, spending time with your family, going for a run and taking care of your fitness. Physiologically, fitness holds the most important position in everybody's life, because whenever you're working out or exercising, something in your body is released called as the endorphins, which is important to make you feel positive, and it has an influence on your mental health and how you are as a person in front of others. Similarly, like Udang mentioned, family plays the most important role because we all love to feel loved and love to spread love everywhere. In education, without knowledge, we are nobody. Without wisdom, we will not be able to survive in this world. Now, these are all the basic important things that people should have in their lives. But of course, based on the paths that we've chosen for ourselves, based on the goals that we've set out for ourselves, our priorities will vary from person to person, right? So all of you must be wondering, how do I identify what are the rocks in my life? How do I know how should I use my time the best? Let me share with you some of the things that I came across while researching on this topic about how to prioritize. Number one, identify your core values. What is it that makes you the happiest? What is it that matters to you the most? Is it health? Is it money? Is it fitness? Is it relationships? Identify your core values first. Number two, align your core values to your goals. Now, for example, one of my values is about creativity. I want an outlet to show the world my creativity. So what are the actions that will allow me to bring out my creativity? Is it art? Is it dance? Is it music? I have to identify these things for myself. Similarly, if goal is my core value, I have to identify, is it playing a sport? Is it dancing? What is it that is going to help me achieve my core values? And then align them. Number three, developing a habit. They say when you do something over and over again, it becomes a habit over a long period of time. And it's important for us to develop habits to enable us to achieve our goals. Now, for example, let me talk about my own personal goal. I want to publish a book someday. And for that, I need to start putting efforts right now. And what I'm doing every day is I spend at least 20 minutes on writing, or I at least make sure I write 10 pages every day. So this way, and they say that if you do something continuously for 21 days, and then subsequently for 6 weeks, it becomes a habit. And you know what? When we achieve the daily goals every week, we start feeling the sense of reward, because in our brain, there is something called as dopamine that is released. And that is nothing but this feel-good neurotransmitter that gives us the sense of reward and satisfaction. And whenever we feel rewarded, we tend to do the same things repeatedly, and that becomes a habit. So it's important to make it a habit. Number four, reflect on your progress. What is it that I did right? And journalize this, because the more you reinforce yourself, the more it becomes a reality. And number five, the most important thing is to understand that your priorities and somebody else's priorities may not be the same. Somebody else having big cars, fancy jobs, and big houses need not mean that we should have the same priorities too. We should remember and reinforce to ourselves that what is it that matters to me the most, and what is it that makes me the happiest. So let me just quickly re-encapsulate the 5 things that I said. Identify your core values. Second is align your core values to your goals. Third, make it a habit. Number 4, evaluate your progress. And number 5, remember your priorities are different from the others. All right, it's a continuous process of learning and understanding priorities, and it may change and vary from time to time, and we have to keep evaluating ourselves over and over again. Let me just say that it's not about having time to do something, but making time for something that is of utmost critical importance to us. Thank you, and back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sridevi. That was a fantastic speech. So if you figure out the why, how, and what doesn't matter. I call upon the second individual evaluator, Toastmaster Ankita, to read the guidelines.
Good evening, everyone. Am I audible and visible? Thank you. The speaker is going to be presenting their path completion speech. The purpose of the project is for the member to reflect on his or her growth during the path and also share some aspect of their growth during the completion of the path. Timer, please note that the speech is going to be 10 to 12 minutes long. Thank you, and back to the MC.
Our second speaker of the evening, DTM Subramaniam sir. He's a mechanical engineer and reliability engineer. He is currently working with an engineering and R&D services multinational company. He is the president of DTM Toastmaster Club and has been a Toastmaster since 9 years. He loves reading and browsing Quora. Handing over to DTM Subramaniam sir, who's completing for level 5 Reflect on Your Path, titled The Marathon. Sir, you're on mute.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction, Toastmaster Nakul. Let me take a breath from the marathon I've been running for last 3 years. Yes, Toastmasters, it has been a marathon since last 3 years. Last 3 years, to be exact, I started running this marathon on 13th of May 2018 when I attempted my icebreaker speech as part of effective coaching path. When I said marathon, I saw some smile. How many of you are interested in running as a long distance? Thank you. Last 3 years, it has been a very enlightening journey, and I would say that throughout this journey, if I have observed something, it's that even though I was not in a running for winning the marathon as such, I was more concerned with being in the race and also completing the marathon on time so that I don't miss out on the learning. Yes, this is about my own story of learning, growing up, and my journey throughout this marathon with lots of pit stops. Toastmasters, I've already completed one DTM journey, and I was really thinking what exactly is there in pathways. Everything, whatever is there to learn, I've already learned it in one way, in the traditional way. What is it that is at stake for me to learn? Yes, it was an eye opener for me, because through this journey, I learned that we have been doing everything unconsciously, that we don't know exactly what it means until we attempted that speech or until we attempted that project. For example, For the first time, after we started having online meetings, as part of these pathway speeches, I learned that it's very important to stand in front of an audience and speak. That is one of my first learning when I started giving this speech. No matter, we were accustomed to give our speeches standing while we were attending in-person meetings. Second thing is that in level 2, there are two projects. One is understanding your communication style, and second thing is understanding your leadership style. While we were already doing what we were doing very comfortably without being aware of what were our communication styles or what were our leadership styles. Depending on the occasion, we chose a particular leadership style which was suitable for that particular situation. May it be democratic, or may it be a coaching style, or may it be authoritative style. Doing this project on leadership style, then I got to know the leadership styles which I had, and I was able to understand it better and make the difference, so that learning has gone inside my thick skin. Even the mentoring aspect, while we were aware of the interaction between the mentor and the mentee before giving speeches, the process defined inside this project, I got to understand the nuances of mentoring. And now, after having taken up that mentoring project, I started really enjoying the initial interactions between the mentor and the mentee, especially the ideation process, when the mentee approaches the mentor in deciding the speech topic as well as the speech drafting. Toastmasters, going back to level 1, in the research and presentation topic, they say it's very much similar to your CC7 of Competent Communicator Manual, wherein you have to do some search and research on the project. Here, I understood and I implemented the same technique wherein you can pick your own topic and make it like a story, where you can also use your facts and research to make it more interesting and to make it impactful. While the projects in level 1 and level 2 were very much towards building your basic skills and exploring them and understanding them, what you did not do before, in terms of we were doing everything unconsciously, but we were not knowing what exactly we were doing, what it meant. Level 3 onwards, it's all about picking those electives which may be useful for us based on our interest. For example, managing a negotiation. It was a core project for me. Managing a negotiation, so far before doing that project, it was all about negotiating with the vegetable seller, shouting, I will pay this price. Then they're shouting, I will agree only for this price. Later, I started working in a corporate organization. Then I understood that negotiation is not about shouting, but working with other teams, understanding their concerns, and then again together with lots of discussions, lots of iterations, then coming to an understanding so that it's a win-win situation of all of us. After doing this project, I got to understand, and slowly that understanding sunk in inside me, that if you work together, then it's a win-win for an entire team. While attempting one of the projects, listening, I also understood it's nothing more than doing a table topics master role. But what you don't realize is that while listening to what speakers have to say on the topic you have been given, if you make it more listening, and if you can interpret that whatever you have learned from them as a takeaway message, you can make your table topic session more impactful and more engaging. This is what I learned. And in fact, after doing this project, I've been enjoying more and more while taking these roles on an ad hoc basis, on a standby. Whenever they call me 1 minute before, I have been always ready. From level 4, there was a project wherein you have to positively influence your mentee through the power of positive coaching. Here, I learned and I could appreciate the amount of effort I had put in to mentor or coach my own team members while training them technically. And I could appreciate the different nuances and differences between coaching and mentoring. Well, coaching is for a specific skill, mentoring is for a longer term duration, wherein personally I'm very happy to say that I was able to positively influence few members to consider my own career, that is as a reliability engineer, for them as a long term profession. In level 5, it's all about uh, showing your leadership skills. Toastmasters, how many of you have taken this learning from your exploring leadership style seriously? Have you thought beyond what is exploring your leadership style? Toastmasters, it has been my experience that whatever styles we explore as part of understanding our own leadership style, we learn to implement it during the high performance leadership when we pick and select a project of our own design wherein we can implement the leadership styles we have explored and learned and understood while attempting understanding a leadership style. May it be identifying your and defining your vision and also the learnings and implementing the different techniques of leadership, how to tackle and deal with people who come from different backgrounds, and how in spite of having different differences from different if maybe you are individual contributor, here you get a chance to work with people from different backgrounds. You have to work together for the greater cause, especially the organization. Here, through this project, I learned that while exploring our leadership style, it's a starting point. In leadership, high performance leadership is one such project or one such opportunity wherein you can invest your own time, efforts, and you can learn your own things, which is a journey in altogether. Overall, I would like to say, and borrowing from DTM Make Prabhakara, project resources from pathways, it tells you what to do, whereas evaluation resource of if each project, it tells you what not to do, while it doesn't tell you how to do. And our growth during this pathways journey is to learn how to hit a goal between these two goalposts. Toastmasters, I would like to quote Sir Arthur Ashe, the late Wimbledon winner. Success is not about destination. It's more about the journey. The efforts we put in during the journey, it's more important than the destination. I have explored different aspects of speaking as well as leadership in myself during this journey, and I hope that I will continue this marathon, the second marathon, in a much more detailed way, and I will start enjoying doing that learning again. Thank you very much. It has been a very enlightful and insightful and impactful learning for all of us. I hope you find the same joy which I had during this journey. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Subramaniam sir, for that wonderful speech. I want to make a quote from a business leader called Simon Sinek. Leadership is not a rank or a position, it is a choice. A choice to look after the person to the left and a person to the right. Thank you. And now moving on to the next session of the day, which is table topics. I now call upon table topic Master Rashmi. She is from Bagalkot district, North Karnataka. She holds a master's degree in computer science. Now a lecturer at VVN PU College. She loves to explore travel and cooking. Over to you, table topic Master Rashmi.
Uh, thank, Thank you very much for your lovely introduction, MC Nakul sir. Am I audible and visible? Am I audible and visible?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Good evening, Toastmasters and fellow Toastmasters. Myself, Rashmi, welcome you all for the most exciting part of the meeting, that is table topic session. So this is a session where every participant is given a chance to speak. Okay, let me share my screen. Okay, is my screen visible?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So without much delay, let's get started. Uh, So my first question is, do you agree with the phrase, God helps those who help themselves? So this question uh, goes to Miss Sanjana ma'am. Uh,
Thank you for the good evening to fellow Toastmasters. And I do agree with the phrase God helps those who help themselves because I learned it the hard way. Um, when I was in school, I used to always, crip on the fact saying that why doesn't God help me with my marks? And why doesn't God help me with winning a trophy in the sports day without me putting any efforts? So I thought life was a piece of cake back then. And me putting zero efforts would fetch me everything. But as I said earlier, I had to learn the hard way. I had to burn the midnight oil and do all the math problems with my mother sitting beside me and pinching my ears if I went wrong anywhere, and then waking up early in the morning again to revise the same thing, and then giving my test. I did find a difference where me just praying to God, saying that, oh God, can you please give me a 25 on 25 in my math paper, rather than me putting the efforts and um, me putting the efforts and getting a 25 on 25 on my math paper. So I do agree that even if God doesn't help you, I would like to put it in this way. It is more satisfying if you help yourself and get the results than ideally praying for God to come and um, ideally praying him for being the sole survivor while you do nothing. So that is my take on the topic. Thank you for giving me such a wonderful topic once again, and back to you, table topic master.
okay, thank you, Sanjana ma'am, for sharing your views about the phrase. Actually, what you were experiencing, same thing even I was experiencing when I was in the school days. Same thing, I was praying for the God for getting the good marks. But unless and until we put the effort, God cannot help us. We need to do hard work. Then only God can reward us. Thank you so much. Uh, so the second question is your philosophy for a happy life. Uh, I choose Krishnamurti BK sir. Sir, are you there, sir?
Yeah, thank you, Table Topic Master. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests, if there are any. Your philosophy for a happy life. I would say my philosophy is take things as they come. It doesn't mean that you should not plan or you should not work on that, but you have to work. But be ready to accept whatever comes in your way. Sometimes you succeed, and most of the time you succeed if you work hard, and whatever you want, if you plan and execute it, will definitely achieve that. But at the same time, if you think that if you crib on any problem that comes, then that will take you back. So to make you be ready for this life, you have to keep working and be ready to move on, irrespective of whatever problem comes, and face it and be ready. I'll give you many examples in life. For example, this corona, none of us anticipated it. But cribbing about it and as a whole world is doomed is not the solution. We have to fight out, and whatever is required, appropriate COVID behavior, we have to follow it and strictly. And whatever law of the land, if they say don't go out, we should not go out, not break those laws. That is very important, very essential, and that's some people die. It is not that we should not worry about that. It can we can all anything happens to anybody at any time. Even without corona, also people keep dying, and nobody is permanent here in this world. So we should not worry too much about those things, and take life as it comes, and keep moving. Plan your whatever you want to do, and keep moving ahead. Back to you, table topic.
Thank you so much, Krishnamurthy sir. Very truly said. So, philosophy for a happy life, lies within us. So, whatever comes, we have to accept it. As you said, every day the people will die. So, it is very true, sir. Simply, we should not worry about the corona. We have to accept the truth and move on. Thank you, sir. My next question is, what school activities and sports did you participate in? So, Sir Ravi Kumar, sir. So, can you take the third question? Ravi Kumar, sir.
Ma'am, Ravi Kumar sir is not in the meeting.
Okay, sorry, sir. Reshma Karkera, I think guest Reshma Karkera. Am I pronouncing it right? Reshma Karkera.
Yeah. Good evening. Yeah. Thank you for this opportunity to be a part of your meeting. First of all, what's the topic? What school activities and sports be part of? Okay. School activities. I think to name a few. I think the list is pretty long, and I'm a person who is very kind of an outdoor person rather than indoor person. So most of the time I used to spend on the badminton court, or rather throw ball matches, or swim, or anything to do outside the house. I would wait for a reason to be outside the house than indoor. I would never, everybody would say, like, it's so hot and sunny. There would be so many of my classmates say, oh, you become dark. But as for me, it was never about color or anything. But I would always want to play with the mud, the sand, and anything to do under the sun. So most of the time, I would actually be playing outdoors. In the sense, I would even go to the extreme of playing cricket also. We did play cricket, but I think there was one instance where we played badminton. And to tell you one funny aspect, in fact, I actually played for my school, and uh, uh, even ball badminton, I think we played for the school, and we lost. We came to the finals, but unfortunately we lost. But the badminton match was really a funny one. In fact, I would like to share, probably you also will laugh. at me. But I think I played it well. I was playing singles. But the most funniest part was when I went up to give a nice service. I did my service really well. But then I had this great, fetish for smashing, and I would feel, wow, that's one thing which I would always crave for, smashing the and getting the point. But what happened at that match was I smashed and I fell, and everybody laughed because at that point of time we used to wear short skirts, and then of course we had this funny long things under our skirts, and everybody laughed, but luckily for my uh, w- uh, probably for my inspiration or something, my teacher came running and said, don't worry, just go ahead and play your best. So though I lost the match, it was the most funniest aspect during the school days, and I love those activities, and I do continue it, but only a few of them. But yes, I think I loved being outdoors, and yeah, thank you, and over to you, table topics master.
Thank you very much, Reshma, for sharing your school activities and sports. You are a multi-talented girl. I think you almost taken part in all the activities like swimming, badminton, cricket. Okay, continue to do that. Okay. My next question goes to the next question is, what is the best way for students to effectively balance their classes, studies, work, and social life? Uh, so, so AK Prabhakara sir, could you please take this question?
Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. What is the best way for the students to effectively balance their classes, studies, work, and social life? I would say, somebody talked of prioritizing. All these are all required. It is about prioritizing. I would say there are times when you have leisure. There are times where you have to focus only on studies. So the balancing act is not in a given day. It's over a period of time. Say, for example, during summer holidays, my father used to ensure that we all go to gymnasium. Not in the conventional sense of today. There used to be heavy weightlifting that I had to during summer holidays. I was maybe by the time I was in pre-university stage. So during the time of summer holidays, early morning, I used to go running in National High School field, 7 rounds, and then practice how to pitch a cricket ball exactly on this piece of handkerchief that I used to place in order to bowl, learning accurately. So that was summer holidays. But on a day-to-day basis, study during school time, immediately after the school, play 2 hours of cricket or any game, including carom board if it were to be raining, then come back, studies for 3 or 4 hours. Then by that time you'll have finished your dinner, and then you go back to sleep. So the balancing act is about having everything in place and in slotted time. And the more you dedicate in certain spaces at certain point of time, then you will be better and better. It is not a whole day you will be able to balance it out. It is not possible. And most important way to prioritize is writing a simple diary that your previous day evening, that what you will do that day evening, and next day morning what you will start doing next day for next day. With this, I have done it for maybe decades, and even today I do it for year by year, day after day. This is my last year's diary, but on the back side I'm writing Toastmasters, keeping a diary of Toastmasters every meeting. So whole point is that how much of work-life balance they talk nowadays is possible. There are 24 hours. Some people can do better than others. One of the best examples of both balancing I have come across, I've heard, is Anil Kumble, Sunil Gavaskar. Anil Kumble was one of the finest person who went on to become one of the greatest cricketers India has produced, or Karnataka has produced. And he was able to manage both. That's what I have heard from the social circles. And Sunil Gavaskar also did his MA economics. He was also a very balanced person. And these are rare cases, but most of the time people fall into one side or the other. At the end of it, they will have missed something. One of the biggest thing that we have to learn in the process of all these things is how to overcome the setback and consider it not as failure, but as a stepping stone to success. So when you do all these things, you will know how to lose gracefully and also win, and in a way that is most balanced way to take you forward in your life. Over to table topic master.
Uh, Thank you so much, sir. That is very wonderful to hear. So your views about balancing the time management is very essential for our generation. Thank you so much for sharing your experience. Uh, the fifth question is, how can we encourage people to live healthier lifestyle? So, Madam Lalla Murthy ma'am, can you please share your views?
Thank you, Table Topic Master. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and welcome guests. How can we encourage people to live healthier lifestyles? It is not a question of encouraging. The current situation has made it mandatory for everybody to lead a healthier lifestyle, so that we don't get into any health problems. Maybe we can inspire others by setting an example for them. And creating awareness for them, having eating healthy diets, having physical exercise sessions, at least for a walk. Of course, now in this situation, in this lockdown, maybe it is very difficult to go out for a walk, but there are ways and means to keep yourself busy. You can, if you have a balcony or a terrace, maybe you can walk around in your house itself or in the house compound. Or if you have staircase in the house, you can walk up and down to keep yourself fit and healthy. And see, there is a flip side to sitting at home all the time also. Since you have nothing to do, you tend to eat all unhealthy stuff. Maybe you can avoid that and start eating healthy diet. Maybe eat more of salads and fruits. So I think that's how we have to, first of all, we have to follow a healthy lifestyle and see that our family does that. And also then maybe you can go to the next circle, that is your friends, and you can tell them to do it. So that is how maybe we spread it around our circle of influence and see that we follow healthier lifestyles. It is for our own good, of course, and it is very much mandatory in this current situation. That's my take on this topic. Back to you, Table Topic Master Rashmi.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So your view on healthier health styles really inspiring others, like eating salads and fruit salads and vegetable salads. It definitely help you to inculcate good eating habits that will increase our immunity also. Especially these days, we need to boost our immunity. Thank you so much, ma'am. So the next question is how to effectively fake being sick. So this question goes to Sahi Sehal sir. How to effectively fake being sick?
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. How to effectively fake being sick? A lot of youngsters these days, okay, even I'm a youngster, but a lot of them, what they do is this: if they want to take a sick leave or they don't want to go to college or work, they start by waking up and then they say they're sick. But that is the wrong part of it. If you want to effectively fake being sick, the planning has to be in place. You got to start the previous day. Only then the plan has a huge success rate. For example, you start in the previous day by in the evening, ask your mom to prepare the best food for you for the next morning and then not eat it, telling her, you're not able to eat it. So in that way, she feels that there's something terribly wrong with you, that she actually convinces herself, and rather than just showing that you have cold or cough just by coughing now and then, that does not really help. Another way is you got to act very weak. You should, even though you can lift a piece of weight, whatever is around in your daily usual activities, just try showing that you cannot lift it because you're feeling somewhat weakness in your body. That all adds up to how to effectively fake being sick. These are some of the common techniques that you can try to use it. Of course, I do not use any of these, and I don't recommend anyone using them at this time. It's not worth fake being sick because it's better to be safe. Thank you, and back to the table topic master.
Thank you so much, Sai Snehal sir. Actually, the children, the kids who are very tender age, like 6 years, 7 years, who are going to school, they are very good at acting. They'll fake being sick to the mom. Things like that, they are really normal. Okay, my children are very good at it. Okay, thank you so much. So the next question is, what can be done to ensure parents and coaches are not pushing kids too hard in sports? I repeat, what can be done to ensure parents and coaches are not pushing kids too hard in sports? So I would like to call MU Bhatt sir for this question.
Madam Topic Master, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. The question is, what can be done to ensure parents and coaches not pushing kids too hard in sports? I really do not know whether that is the reality today, because I was understanding that parents are pushing children too hard to study in the home or in the college rather than in sports. But then the media attention what you are getting, that Sachin Tendulkar or Rahul Dravid earning crores of rupees, or you're seeing how the sportsmen are getting that all that adulation and all that. More and more people think that they can, if their children come up in life, they can prepare another Sachin Tendulkar. But that is a myth, because there has to be certain basic instinct of our sports or interest in sports in the child before it can be pushed that you can do something. So to prepare, so ensure that you are not pushing the children too hard. First, the coach or the parents have to identify or analyze whether the child really does have any inclination towards sports, or it is just that is my interest. I want to live my life through him. That is the first question they need to ask. So I feel that first of all, you have to ensure that the children are really interested in sports. Yes, some basic elements of taking part in sports and games is important, not totally involving in academics, because that is good for their health and for their social interactions and all that. To that extent, parents have to push their parents to take a part in sports and games, but not making the whole life out of sports unless the child is really interested in that. So it's first of all, let the parents and the coaches identify the basic instinct, the interest of the child, and then only start pushing. Then only it will ensure parents should know that everybody is not a Sachin Tendulkar, everybody is not a Rahul Dravid. It has to have it within the child to pursue it, and that kind of perseverance has to be there. If that understanding, that perception is there in the parents and the coaches, they will definitely not ensure, or they will not push the children too hard into the sports. Back to you, madam.
Thank you so much, sir. Yes, very well said, sir. Everybody cannot be a Sachin Tendulkar or a Rahul Dravid. It should be the sports, that spirit should be inside oneself. The parents cannot push or coaches, coaches cannot push them to take the part in the sports. Thank you so much, sir. So the next question is, how should parents handle their teens' cell phone and social media use? Balaji sir, could you please
Yes.
Tell your views, Balaji sir?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So sorry, I just stepped out for a second. Yeah. How should parents handle their teens' cell phone and social media use? I mean, I could be completely against a lot of thoughts here. and maybe I'll be mistaken as well when I speak about this. I think parents here first need to know how to handle their phones and how exactly social media is used, because most of the times I get mostly parents go out there and ask their kids not to use phones, not to use social media. I train kids of similar teenagers of similar ages, and these kids have YouTube channels. These kids are on Instagram with 5,000 followers, 10,000 followers. These kids are on Facebook. These kids are doing fantastic with the social media apps, and the parent doesn't even understand how the kid is actually using this. So I really think the parents should be aware of how to train their kids on usage of cell phone and social media, because most of the parents now use Facebook for stalking other ladies or other men on their phone. They think kids are also doing the same, while most of them are doing it, and there's no coming over that fact. But I really think there's a lot for the kid to take from the cell phone, especially now during COVID. You like it, you don't like it, the kid needs to have that phone in his or her hand. They need to be on social media, you like it or you don't like it. Train them on how to use this app, train them on how to use this tech, and for that you need to be aware on how the present gen works, because the present gen works very, very different.
Thank you so much, Balaji sir. So actually, parents need to aware what their kids are doing at home. Actually, they need to keep monitor their children. Thank you so much. The next question is, what is the importance of yoga and meditation in daily life? Arundhati Herle ma'am, could you please take this question? Arundhati Herle ma'am.
Good evening, Madam Topic Master and my dear fellow Toastmasters. The importance of yoga and meditation in daily life. I think this is the best time to discuss about the importance of yoga and meditation because of the need for maintaining good health, both physical and mental. It's been proved that coronavirus attacks the lungs first. So if you are an expert in yoga, pranayama, breathing exercises, enhancing the capacity of lungs, definitely you are a way above all in fighting this particular virus. When I give my own example, I do yoga, though not very regularly, at least weekly, 4 to 5 sessions I definitely do. Right now, I'm handling corona patients. I conduct deliveries for COVID affected women. And right now, at this point of time, I have about 28 COVID patients. And so far, I have not got this disease. Regarding meditation, we are mentally very, very stressed because the complications we face during this period, not only about my patients, when I see my surroundings, when I see other people being on ventilator, being in ICU, losing their lives, it's really very, very stressful. 2 days back, I conducted one delivery where I had torrential bleed and I had to give 3 bottles of blood. Though I could manage it physically very well, the psychological stress I had because of that particular incident is still with me. So meditation definitely brings you back into this calmness, which is very much needed to handle the situation. Definitely yoga and meditation is very, very important for everyone, every time, especially during this COVID days, to maintain a very good mental and physical status. Back to you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. During these days, yoga and meditation really plays an important role. It relieves the stress, the burden on the mental stress, and the yoga increases the blood glucose level and the hormones that will balance our daily life. Thank you, ma'am. The next question is, does food habit impact one's intelligence? Uh, Toastmaster Chandrasekhar, sir.
Table topic master and other members. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Does food habit impact one's intelligence? From time immemorial, yes, Ayurveda and other they say that it is a fact. If you take too much fatty foods, people get docile. Their thinking also can docile. Of course, if food, as other speakers told, the good exercise and yoga, meditation, if they can digest that and put it into the proper way, yeah, it can be beneficial. But still, there are food which makes the people docile. In Sanskrit, it is called tamasic food. There are some food which is sattvic, which can keep a man more about his intelligence and emotions better to control. I myself honestly tell you, I am being, even though I was a very strict vegetarian during early my period, when I started eating non-veg in a foreign country for about 5 years, I became little completely different person. Yes, that is, it is my experience. And food includes drinking also, drinking of any type of beverages, etc. Yes, it has an effect. But any food which is under control, which we knowingly take and keep control on that, it will be beneficial. Otherwise, definitely it will not only help, when health gets affected, it also affects your thinking process and intelligence. It's a very good topic you have given, table topic master. We should choose what we want and control the food. Definitely, it will give intelligence. There are many medicines or food which is given for improving intelligence in the traditional Indian system, some herbs and some vegetables, etc. It is good. I believe that, and we should take the food in a controlled way and keep up our health and intelligence, because they're all interconnected. You can't separate it out. With this, thank you for giving this good topic, which is making everybody to think what they are eating instead of complaining that intelligence is not thinking properly, because the food definitely influences our physical and psychological emotions. Thank you, table topic.
Thank you so much, Chandrasekhar, sir. As you said, our health depends on the food habits. If you inculcate good, healthy eating habits, definitely our health is going to improve, and indirectly that will increase our intelligence. That is very true, sir. Thank you so much, sir. So then next question is, so why is the humor an important life skill? Uh, Toastmaster Ankita ma'am, why is humor is an important life skill? Could you please take this question?
Okay. Am I audible now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Why is humor an important life skill? I think it's because if you can make someone laugh, you can immediately establish that connect with this person. And that's the reason, one of the reasons why I joined Toastmasters as a platform. I'm somebody who's very who finds very difficult to deliver a speech that can make anyone laugh. Like, I'll be the only one laughing at my own joke if I even try to deliver a speech that's close to funny. My sense of humor is that silly. So I've always wanted to work on the skill to actually enhance my humor inducing skills, but somehow I haven't been able to come close to that line as yet. But the importance of humor basically is the fact that it establishes that personal connect. And also, if you make someone laugh, I think they just remember you and associate you with the joke that you might have cracked or something silly that you might have done, which they will remember forever. Like, I remember from school, I think when I look back at school and I think of people in my class, my classmates, I think I remember people, of course, people who are my friends, I remember them, but the other people I've lost touch with. I think it's the notorious ones in class who used to make us laugh, who used to do these silly pranks on teachers and just make all of us laugh in class and take the attention away from the class. And, like, it's those students whom you remember even after school's over, because they made you laugh, and they it's just something you remember and laugh thinking about it. So that's why I think humor is important, because it helps you establish that connect with a person that immediately, without really making too much of an effort. Back to you, TPT.
Thank you so much, Ankita ma'am. Yes, it is very true that humor can interconnect with other people. Yes, as you said, the we will not remember the person who is very student and quiet in the class or the school or maybe in the college. We will always remember who are very notorious and very make others laugh. So they will make our lives very easy. Yeah, we can the humor will be the humor with a sense of humor, we can lighten our burden on our life. Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am. So the next question is, every generation complains about the previous generation. What do you complain about the previous generation and why? So Ujjwal, Toastmaster Ujjwal P.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I would like to invite Ujjwal P. Toastmaster Ujjwal P.
Yes, thank you. A very happy evening once again, fellow Toastmasters. Thank you, Table Topic Master, for giving me this topic. Okay, my topic for today is every generation complains about the previous generation. What do you complain about the previous generation and why? Okay, as soon as I see this topic, the first thing which come to my mind is now every time my father will scold that you'll not read properly, you're not studying properly. So every time when he says that, one thought will come to my mind, that in their generation, that means in my father's generation, there was no much of like distracting things. To name a few, I would to name a few, TV, television, or social media, Instagram, and all the things. But when it comes to in our generation, there is a lot of distractions. There is an IPL match going on when we have exams. When we have exams, and like when we are, when we are studying for exam, the family, all my family will be watching the TV. They will be enjoying. But when compared to the previous generation, they did not have any such things. But yeah, once in a week, only on Sundays or Saturdays, there used to be serials coming in Doordarshan. But the rest of the week, they would enjoy happily, and they could have they would have studied well. Like for example, my father used to go every day to the library, and he used to study for 6 to 7 hours there, like simply reading a twinkle or any storybooks. So like that he used to spend time. But now it's all of like staying in like staying in home, and like we are in our generation we are not able to go out and play. But in our father generation, they they used to always be out, and they used to play always outdoor games. So yeah, this is my take on the topic. Thank you, and back to you, Rashmi ma'am.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Ujjwal, for sharing the differences between the previous generation and the present generation. Okay. So the next question is, what is the role of CCTV cameras? I would like to invite our President Udanka sir for this question. What is the role of CCTV cameras?
Okay, what is the role of CCTV camera? Yes, there is a lots and lots of benefits of benefits from the CCTV camera. Previously, if you have observed, there were many things going on around. There were many thefts going on, many crime scenes going on around us, but there was no proper evidence on who did it or how it was done. So now these CCTV evolvements has made our life so much easier that if you could observe all the each and every house or at least one house in one road have the CCTV camera, so it's a security reason. And yes, we can have a proper view on whatever is going on around us, and even it is used in many offices or shopping marts or anywhere you go. Most of the places you go, there are CCTV cameras just to make sure that everything's are going in proper manner and all the things are set rightly in the place. With that note, I hand over the charge back to Toastmaster Rashmi.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Nowadays, CCTV cameras plays an important role in every field, whether it is in education, school, in the house, or maybe in the streets. Recently, an incident took place with my mother-in-law. In the evening, my mother-in-law's chain got snatched. Okay, near to our house only. It was just 6:45 p.m. in the evening. Uh, the police were able to catch the exact location where it happened, but unfortunately we didn't get back the chain. That is the difference in a topic. But most of the crimes can be we can find out the location, how it happened, why it happened. So thank you so much for your view on CCTV cameras. So with this, now we are at the end of the table topic session. Thank you so much for your wonderful participation. Thank you everyone. So with this, I will give control back to our Master of Ceremony, Nakul sir.
Thank you, Table Topic Master Rashmi, for a wonderful list of questions. Lastly, the CCTV, the only hope was it works. Whenever some theft has happened, hopefully the recording exists. Good evening, speakers. We'll now take a 5-minute break and we come back at 7:51.
I completely agree, Sandeep.
I think
Best is the
right.
yes. Because of that, I had a very huge loss.
I understand they have implemented some installed rather some machines which can directly read your number, and it can convert the picture into text, and they can put a fine if you are crossing the signal at the wrong time.
Oh.
Sometimes we get wrong challenge also. I got once in, I was not traveling in Rajarajeshwari Nagar, but I got a fine from there. My car was not there seen.
There is some scam happening near in Bangalore where they start billing you as public nuisance, 250 rupees, some random mobile numbers. So all of this nonsense exists in Bangalore.
If you don't wear mask, it is considered as public nuisance.
Yeah, that
is categorized under public nuisance.
I live in Chikmagalur. Where will I travel in Bangalore?
Oh, you got from Bangalore.
Once it happened to me that I was driving in Mysore, and then somehow I did not realize that I jumped a signal. I got a notice back to my home in Bangalore.
Oh, you deserved it.
Once I've seen a live scam happening in front of me. There was a police vehicle which was parked in a no parking zone, but they had to fine it. So what they did was they noted down the vehicle number which was right next to it, which was still in the parking zone, and put a fine on it, and they removed the police vehicle away. So this is how the scam works.
Public service nuisance.
Our robbers know how to bypass the CCTV camera by putting a paper or something for some time during their act and leaving it. Because when technology is increasing, people are also becoming more wise how to defeat the systems.
You can put mask for number plate also, sir.
UK is the most watched country in the world. Everything possible is watched.
Which country, Nakul?
UK.
In terms of surveillance?
And so in terms of surveillance.
So what, like, do they have sensors employed at every junction and things like that?
Like anything public, anything common area is monitored. So if that's why the windows of homes have a tint or a reflection.
Isn't that against privacy?
It is, but the government overrules everything.
What?
Like it is like privacy issues there, but then like most of the common area, like everything possible is under CCTV. Not crossing the line, but still, like if you take like common area like some garden or anything, it is under CCTV surveillance.
Even the Middle East, I think,
Would have been believable for
capital punishment and stuff if you are,
Yeah. There they behead you. Even now I've heard of beheading. I don't know.
Apparently they don't lock the stores there at night, like it's because no one would dare to come and rob or that's how strict it is.
Can we resume the meeting now?
Oh yes.
Yeah. Okay. We now resume the meeting with a general evaluation session by Toastmaster Lalana Murthy ma'am. Lalana Murthy ma'am, a postgraduate diploma holder in systems management. She's actively involved with Inner Wheel. She was heading the district as the chairman during 2019 and 20. In Mekon, she has served as Sergeant at Arms, Secretary and Associate VP. Her interests are reading, traveling and yoga. Back to you, ma'am. General evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Nakul, for that very nice introduction. In this general evaluation session, Toastmasters receive feedback which they will benefit from and grow to become better Toastmasters. As the general evaluator, I'll be reflecting on the proceedings of the meeting. The meeting started at 6:18 p.m., which is not really bad, as we were waiting for some of the speakers and the evaluators to join us. So we were pretty much on time. And it was followed by the business session, which was crisp. And VP Education, Sai Snehal, gave an update on the role takers and speakers for the next meeting. And President Udanka also mentioned about the theme for the next issue of the newsletter, which was, I think, request from VPPR. And it's a matter of pride for Mekon that we are eligible for the Hall of Fame Gold Award. So that was a very positive thing for us. And Sergeant at Arms, Toastmaster Ujjwal, started the meeting energetically as always. He related to the theme by speaking about a hot cup of coffee on a cold morning, which is good till the last drop. His introduction of the president was also done very well. Can we have a round of applause for Toastmaster Ujjwal, please? Coming to the president's address, President Udanka opened the meeting, followed by, I think we did not have any guest introductions. There's only one guest who joined later after his talk. And the secretary's report was read out by Associate Secretary Toastmaster Gaurav. President Udanka related to the theme by stating that we should not give up till the last moment as most youngsters do. He summed it up with the quote that failure is a stepping stone for success. However, I felt his presidential address was very short. He could have made use of the time available to him by speaking about a personal incident or any other example. It would have been more effective. And being a confident speaker, and we have seen him blossom into a seasoned Toastmaster now with his experience as an area director and he has so many speeches behind him. He also, I think, completed his DTM speech in the previous week. Of course, I was not present to witness that. And so we have a lot of expectations from him. Maybe his presidential address should have been a bit longer is what I would like to say to Toastmaster Udanka. However, his introduction of the MC was good, giving out all the relevant details. And can we have a round of applause for Toastmaster Udanka, please? We'll now have the evaluations of the speeches. The first speaker was Toastmaster Sri Devi. Can I request the individual evaluator, Toastmaster Balaji, to evaluate the speech?
Thank you, Toastmaster Lalna ma'am. And a very good evening to everyone and a special evening to our speaker, Toastmaster Sri Devi. Every time I take my bike to the mechanic, I am always worried. I'm like, sir, is everything fine with my bike? And the first thing that my mechanic does is he looks at the engine. He revs, he takes a look at the engine and he says, sir, if engine is fine, everything else is fixable, sir. Every other part is fixable. Engine is fine, sir, don't worry. And I have to say the engine of talking when it comes to the speaker, Sridevi, she's got a perfect engine. I would say the engine this is for me is made of voice, language, the pitch or tempo. And I have to say Sridevi with this respect, Toastmaster Sridevi with this respect is gifted because her strength is voice, language and the tempo or the pitch that she speaks in, which gives you a soothing factor for the listener's ear, which is a very rare quality. Not every speaker is gifted with something like that. And if I have to say to the guidelines, did she inspire? I don't know about you all. She definitely inspired me. And she's always content driven. And this speech is another perfect example that she's again content driven. Just because she's got a flamboyant language, she just doesn't throw words and go back. She makes sure she works on her content with some kind of a backing which will land sensible to every person in the audience, which is another amazing thing about this speaker. And she was a solution provider as well. Inspiration lasts for a few seconds or an hour, but solutions are those inspirations that last for a long, long time. So your speech today didn't just was not just random inspiration, was a solution provider, which for me was a very was the best part of your speech. Now, if I really have to speak about a few things where I could see you maybe work on, you definitely are a speaker already at a different pedestal, and I see you as a speaker who could definitely take part in a lot more events, and maybe up the game a lot more, because that's the skill you've got. uh, Initially when you were muting or unmuting, and when you were trying to ask your audience a few questions, maybe there was a little practice that was required there, because that looked like you were meddling with the system. It didn't look like you were comfortable with the system. It looked like you were meddling with the system, and that somehow felt shook you in the start. You were prepared, you had your script, and maybe you needed more preparation, because the speech in itself needed more preparation. I felt because you're a natural speaker, you thought I can pull it off, which for sure you pulled off. There were a few places where I thought, if no preparation, that comes up. For example, the words like most important, second, pebbles. There was extra stress added to these words. Most important, pebbles, second. And maybe you were thinking of a word after that. So I think some more preparation. And when you are a GE, there's a very natural flair in your speaking. You are a very natural evaluator. It's like you're made for that role. And when you're speaking, you already have all the skills. You just have to make it a lot more natural. Maybe get the Bharatanatyam dancer completely out on stage. And I don't see anything stopping you from there. This is my personal feedback, and congratulations on finishing your speech, and all the very best for your upcoming speeches.
Thank you, Toastmaster Balaji, for that succinct and very positive evaluation. And I like the way you said that if the engine is fine, everything is fine. And you also spoke about the voice, language, pitch, and tempo. And I agree that she is one of our very gifted speakers. And your evaluation was based on the guidelines of the speech. And you also said that her content was good, and there was a solution. There was a solution at the end of the speech. And your suggestions also were helpful. And even I felt that she was kind of trying to see something on the screen, or I don't know, that is the impression I got. She was trying to mute and unmute. So maybe she needed preparation. I agree with you on that. So can we have a round of applause for both the evaluator and the speaker? The second speech was by DTM Subramaniam. Can I request Toastmaster Ankita to evaluate the speech?
Good evening to one and all present here, and to DTM Subramaniam sir in particular. Can we all first have like reactions pouring in, and a great round of applause for DTM Subramaniam sir for having completed his path in effective coaching successfully. I would like start evaluating you by mentioning what you did well, and then I'm going to come to what you could have done better. So, firstly, I really loved the way you began your speech. It was dramatic, and it immediately captured the attention of the audience. And basically, everyone was smiling, and everyone just cracked up when you started the way you started. And even your title, where you said the marathon, it was a metaphorical usage where you basically said that your path, the whole journey through the path was like a marathon, and it was tiring, it was challenging, but at the end of it, you learned so much, and you have completed with a bag full of learnings and experiences, which you will be applying on your mentees and in your paths in the future. So kudos on that. Secondly, DTM Subramaniam sir, I really appreciate the calm demeanor with which you deliver not just this speech, but every speech. I feel there's something very honest and very simple about the way you deliver your speeches. I did not see you throwing any fancy phrases or fancy words, something which people couldn't understand. You were very honest, a very personalized delivery of your experience through the effective coaching path, and that is something which really, I think, the kind of humble nature with which you presented it, it really makes me feel that you're a very grounded person and you've actually learned that much more from this path and become so much a seasoned speaker throughout this entire path. You had a very well structured speech. You explained your learnings from each and every level and project. So you also very beautifully brought out the entire concept of an online meeting and how you learned that standing and talking irrespective of the media that we are using is very important. When you came to level 2, you spoke about communication and leadership style and how you realize your leadership style with the help of this pathway. Then you came to level 3 where you spoke about the nuances of mentoring and you said that mentoring is something which has taught you how to mentor everyone. And then you came to level 4 where you actually applied that and realized the difference between coaching someone and basically teaching someone. And I think that is something which just showed me that you have not just done this path to complete the speeches and get a tick on it, but you've completed this path religiously and you've learned so much that you're going to take back home and also apply to your real life and not just to the platform of Toastmasters. Also, you had a great ending. I think I'm never going to forget that reference to AK Prabhakara sir. You said that, the guidelines tell you what you should do, the evaluation source tells you what you should not do. And the whole game is to hit the goal right in the middle. And that is something which I'm going to take back to. And you also had a quote to end with, which just gave it all the more impact and inspired everyone here to start giving speeches and complete their path and learn from it and apply it to their life outside of Toastmasters. If I really had to nitpick anything from your brilliant delivery of this speech and path completion, I would just ask you to work a little on your voice modulation. I felt throughout your speech you were, having this monotone. Probably if you could pause a little, use emphasis words, stress on a few words, and bring in that much more drama, I think it would keep the attention of the audience on you, eyes all on you up until the very end of your speech. Otherwise, fantastic speech, a proud moment for us that you being a member has completed a path, and that too so beautifully. Thank you so much, sir, for this speech and for inspiring all of us, not just by this speech but every speech that you deliver. Thank you so much, and back to you.
Thank you.
Back to you, GE Lalana ma'am.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ankita, for that textbook evaluation, I should say, which touched on all the positive aspects of the speaker. And you also highlighted what he did well, like he had the dramatic opening and the title Marathon, which was a metaphor for his journey in Toastmasters. His speech was well structured, and how he learned from level to level, how he practiced it. In fact, he applied it to the next level, whatever he had learned in the previous level. That was done very well. And you also gave some specific recommendations, like asked him to, suggested for him to work on his voice modulation and also have some pauses, maybe which could take his speech to the next level. And I completely agree with you that DTM Subramaniam is very inspiring, and it's wonderful to see him give speeches week after week with consistency and commitment. And he has also finished his path. So congratulations, DTM Subramaniam. And let's have a round of applause for both the evaluator and the speaker. I now request the role takers to give their reports. Timer, Toastmaster Gaurav.
Yeah, so I'll be reading out the time taken by each speaker. The Sergeant at Arms Toastmaster Ujjwal has taken 1 minute 45 seconds. Secretary's report was for 2 minutes 10 seconds. President Toastmaster Udanka has taken 1 minute 50 seconds. Master of Ceremonies Toastmaster Nakul has taken 14 minutes 25 seconds. And coming to the speakers, Toastmaster Sridevi has taken 8 minutes 50 seconds. ATM Subramaniam has taken 11 minutes 30 seconds. The table topic session was for 41 minutes 15 seconds. And The evaluation, Toastmaster Balaji has taken 4 minutes 10 seconds and Toastmaster Ankita has taken 4 minutes 15 seconds. And coming to the general evaluation, it's around 7 to 8 minutes. It's still continuing.
Thank you, Toastmaster Gaurav. Can we have the report from the R counter Toastmaster Chandrasekhar?
Hello, am I audible and visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Day by day, the quality of speakers is very good, but the number of R's, M's, but is not decreasing. An average of 4 or 5 is there for every speaker. But anyhow, this is the list. Mr. Sai, 3, Nakul, 3, Lalita Madam, 3, B. Krishnamurthy sir, 4, A.S. Balaji, 6, Sridevi, 2, Ankita, 5, V. Subramaniam, 3, Rashmi, 7, Sanjana, 2, Reshma, 3, A.K. Prabhakara, 1, M.U. Bhatt, 1, Arundhati Herle, 1, myself, 3, Ujjwal, 5, Udanka, 1. The quality people speaking with lot of homework and meaningful is educative. I sincerely acknowledge the content part of every speaker. If they can work on this, I think they will become very effective. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Chandrasekhar, for that very detailed report. I now request Sandeep to give his report as the grammarian.
Madam General Evaluator, today's word of the day was frugal. I think it was used only once by Nakul, as far as I noticed. MC Nakul. The good usages were used snapshot of story, bombastic party. Not that it is very good English, but we are not doing this in recent times, so I noticed this. Um, the the duets like philosophy of professor, uh, the metaphor told by speaker Sridevi, the life representing as the jar, and how rocks, pebbles, and sand are good metaphors for the problems of our lives and aspects of our life. Good words like endorphin and dopamine, which is not very much used in much of the speeches. Identifying core values, aligning core values, enlightening journey, search and research. The quote, success is not a destination, but it is a journey. God helps those who helps themselves. Take life as it comes. These are the few good quotations. A.K. Prabhakar sir's gymnasium, again, not so, it's a conventional word, but we have reduced to gym nowadays. So gymnasium was heard after a long time. Adulation, succinct, calm demeanor, fancy phrases. So these are good usages. Not much of could have been good usages, but I request all the members to sometimes consciously remember that active usage of the sentences are very good when you are speaking rather than passive voice. For example, I got to understand. It's a passive voice. I understood. That's active. And it is easy to speak, easy to follow, easy to understand. So that is what my request is. And this is all from the grammarian's desk. Back to you, madam.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sandeep, for that very comprehensive and very good report. And you also gave the suggestions for the members to be better speakers by using active sentences instead of passive sentences. Really, we should try to follow this. I now request Toastmaster Dr. Arundhati to give her report as a parliamentary procedure evaluator. Dr. Arundhati, are you there? I think her screen
Hello.
is...
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Good evening once again. As far as rules of etiquette is concerned, the meeting was up to the mark. There was no talk about sex, religion, or politics. Muting and unmuting was very well in place. And almost all the times, videos were, everyone was on video mode. Thank you, and back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Arundhati. Now, can we have a round of applause for all the role takers who keep track of the meetings diligently and ensure that the meetings go on effectively week after week? Now, coming to the table topics master, Rashmi, I think this is her maiden session, first session as the table topic master. She welcomed everyone for the most exciting session, but I suggest you could have explained about the purpose of the table topic session, why we're having the table topic session. I think you missed doing that. You just invited everybody and started giving out the topics to them. The purpose of a table topic session is to help members to think on their feet and speak, respond spontaneously. And another purpose is that all the members who are attending the meeting, other than the speakers and the evaluators, get a chance to speak. Otherwise, of course, all the tag role takers also have to be given, but you need not give the topics to the GE because I'm already speaking in the general evaluation session, and the president would have spoken in his presidential address. So there is no need of giving the topics to the president and the GE. However, you can give the topics to the tag role team, like the timer, the R counter, and the grammarian and everybody. Of course, you are a new Toastmaster and this is your first session, but of course it is a learning thing for everyone and we learn as we go along, and that is why we are all here. We are learning and growing together. And another thing which I would like to tell, which I think I had suggested previously also in one of my other GE sessions, there's no need of using sir or madam for anybody. We are all Toastmasters here. It is either Toastmaster Ankita or DTM AK Prabhakara, whoever are DTMs, DTM Mubad, DTM Subramaniam, DTM AK Prabhakara. So otherwise, it's all Toastmasters and DTMs. Nakul also used it. Ujjwal also used it. No need of, we may be seniors compared to you in age, but you don't have to say sir and madam here. This is a Toastmasters meeting and we are all Toastmasters. And another thing, Rashmi, is in between the topics you are giving your opinion on what was already spoken by the speaker. There is no need to do that. You can just have a short remark, actually. Maybe you can thank the speaker for their insight on that or whatever. And yeah, that was one thing. And this is a table topic session. You were mentioning next question, next question. It is in the name of the session itself. It is a table topic session. So you should be saying next topic, not the next question.
Question, okay.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So,
Thank
however,
you.
that doesn't take away the excellent table topic session we had. You had a very good choice of topics and it was all relatable to the current situation, health, fitness, yoga, meditation, how to be positive and how to have a healthy frame of mind and all that. And also going back to the childhood by speaking about our favorite activities, sports, and having priorities in education and other things. So can we have a round of applause for the wonderful table topic session by Toastmaster Rashmi?
Thank you so much for your suggestion.
Yeah. Now coming to the MC, Toastmaster Nakul, who steered the meeting today. Good to the last drop was the theme given by him, and everybody had their own perspectives on the theme. And even, in fact, I was not very clear as to what he meant. Seeing the news on TV these days, people lining up in front of the wine stores, and also I had a different thing, good to the last drop. So our President Udanka had a different take, and Ujjwal had related it with a cup of coffee. And of course, since you were the one who gave out the theme, maybe you spoke appropriate to the theme. And Toastmaster Nakul gave his personal example of a company co-founded by him and how he and his partners maximize the resources available in a frugal manner. So that was done very nicely. But Toastmaster Nakul, I'm not sure if you spoke about the history of Toastmasters. At one point of time, my network was a little shaky. So I was not sure whether you spoke about the history of Toastmasters. Did
I
you?
have missed that. I've not spoken about that.
You have not spoken about it. Yeah, okay.
My
Then,
feedback noted.
yeah, after speaking about the theme, you have to have a transition and move into the history of Toastmasters. You have to talk about when it was started in 1924 in Santa Ana, California by Rapsy Smedley, and how many clubs we have, and in how many countries we have Toastmasters. And maybe you can also look up about our own Mekong Communication Club, when it was started, how old is it? You can touch on that. And then you can talk about the structure of the meeting, of course, which you did and explained very well. You spoke about the structure of the meeting as well. And you had all the introductions in place. However, you said the next session will be by Table Topic Master Rashmi, and you gave out the introduction. Instead of that, you should keep the suspense. People should be waiting to know. Of course, it is there in the agenda, but even then, you introduce the speaker first. Now we have a speaker, we have a Toastmaster who is from Bagalkot, and she is a graduate in so-and-so, and she'll be handling the table topic session. So please put your hands together and help me welcome Table Topic Master Rashmi. So that way you give out the name of the Toastmaster in the end. First you introduce the speaker, and then you give out the name of the Toastmaster. It was the same with the Table Topic Master and for me as well. Otherwise, your introductions were all done very well. You did your homework very well. You messaged me yesterday itself. You had all the introductions in place. So everything was done very well. And MC is like a thread that holds the garland together. And of course, you did a very good job of that. And this is also your first session, like Table Topic Master Rashmi. And like I said earlier, this is a learning session for all of us. We learn with each meeting, even the experienced Toastmasters. We learn so much with every speech, like speakers like DTM Subramaniam today and Toastmaster Sri Devi. They are all accomplished speakers. So every time we listen to them, we learn something new, and we also follow it in our own Toastmasters journey. So wonderful job, Toastmaster Nakul, on this maiden session of yours. Can we have a round of applause for Toastmaster Nakul, please? Overall, it was a very successful meeting with very good speeches and table topics. And with that, I would like to hand over the charge back to Toastmaster Nakul.
Thank you, Toastmaster Lalana Murthy, for this wonderful evaluation. We have going to finish the meeting till the last drop with all the participants still there, and nobody has left the meeting yet. We had a wonderful two speakers and a fantastic evaluation and a table topic master. I now hand over it back to the president, Udanka.
Thank you, Toastmaster Nakul. A big round of applause for Toastmaster Nakul and Toastmaster Rashmi on their debutant role. And yes, definitely, Ji Ma'am will take your suggestions and will improve as much as we can by your suggestion. Okay, we are to the end of to the last drop of the meeting. I'm all set to announce the set winners of today. The set winner is the best speaker goes to my mentor, Toastmaster Sri Devi. The best evaluator goes to the VP membership of Mekong Communication Club, Toastmaster Ankita. And the best table topic goes to the one who is grabbing week after week, DTM AK Prabhakara. With that, I close meeting number 1009. I request before I conclude, yes, sir. I request everyone to go to the base camp, take your time, fill it out, give the feedbacks to all the speakers, role takers, and all the roles who are there today. Kindly send your feedback because your feedback is what matters the most. With that, I end meeting number 1109. Can we have everyone turning your video on for a group photo? Balaji?
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all. See you next Monday. Till then, stay safe, stay at home, and be healthy.
Thank you all.
Thank you
Thank
all.
you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Thank you.